Hi, Whit. I'm glad to be here with you talking about in-stores and a couple of things we're thinking about today in a world that continues to feel increasingly digital. Why is in-store not just surviving, but it's been thriving?
So when you think about Walmart, you immediately go to stores. If we're being really honest with ourselves, stores is the heartbeat and has been the heartbeat of Walmart since we started the company 62 years ago. The kind of interesting thing that we've discovered though over the last few months, last few quarters, is that the younger generation, Gen Z shoppers, where we think that they're all shopping on TikTok or shopping on their phones, they're actually going back into the physical space. So it's creating this really interesting opportunity for us as marketers to work with these brands to really engage across all stages of life. And thinking about it, and we talk a lot about this with our stores team inside of Walmart Connect, physical retail is really the only place where advertising, experience, and commerce all converge in real time. So it's this is a kind of a, controversial thing to say, but you could say that retail media is the connective tissue of modern marketing. Trademark. I'm just kidding.
I think it's especially interesting that the younger demographic, is coming into stores so readily, especially because they've grown up with, the phones at their bedside. So that is an extremely exciting piece, I think, for our marketers, but also, for our customers to really touch and feel the.
I was about to say, as well. I think at the end of the day, people really like to touch, feel, and see, and sometimes, at a demo, taste and experience what they're going to be bringing home. So it's an exciting time. When you think about shopper behavior, we were talking about this earlier. It really is fluid. There's not it's either or. Either they're shopping online or they're going in store. It's really both. That's what we've discovered. Everything from social app screens and also walking into the store and actually having that moment of truth. People are very intentional and are driving action the second they walk through our sliding doors.
Yeah, I agree. It's really the store is really a place where intention and action come together, or you could say inspiration and action come together at scale.
Well, and we get a lot of questions. We did, a store walk a couple days ago here locally in Vegas, and people are always asking us, 80% of all U.S. retail still happens in store. So it's even though digital is obviously a huge piece of our current state and future, the store footprint is still a major place where decisions are happening for our shoppers.
Yeah, what's even more fascinating is when you're looking at recent trends in the industry, it's showing that in-store is one of the most underinvested media areas. Customers tend to spend about 5.2% of their media time in stores, but the ad spend isn't anywhere near that. It's at 0.1% in total across the ecosystem. So it's about almost a $20 billion gap in value. And we know that the store, therefore has such an opportunity to become and will become that next major media channel as a result. It's not really optional anymore, right? It's an unlock, a premium unlock for all of our supplier partners and brands.
I know, and I think this is the year, and there's a lot of people talking about it this week at CES, and you cannot open LinkedIn, at least I can't. I think my algorithm is all things stores, but I think this is the year where we're truly going to be able to unlock this and have built the right measurement and the right kind of mechanisms to be able to really truly unleash this the right way. When we talk about it, when our stores team talks about this a lot, a store has its own culture. It has its own, Sam, taught his store managers to be the CEO of their space. There's such a rhythm and an energy, and kind of electricity when you're in a store. And the fact that we're creating this opportunity for brands to show up in that environment and be able to have a truly omni-channel experience with our customers is something that we know is important to our customers and something that we have to enable the right way.
Yeah, I love that, you talked about the operators being their own CEOs. And that notion, I think, lives and breathes with our founder, Sam Walton. He said the best ideas were always found by the folks stocking the shelves or, the desk clerks, because they were closest to the business. I'm curious from your POV on, when we think about scaling our ad offerings today, how does that piece work?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like a lot of I think people are always, talking about and kind of, I think everybody across the industry is like, why is this taking so long? Like, why is this so hard to figure out how to bring, marketing messages to life in store? And like one of the things that we've, really honed in on in the last 12 months is that we have to create some type of relationship. So like different from traditional digital out of home, like just having brands appear in random places, it's not really driving the experience that our customers want. And we see better results when we curate the environment. So the whole idea is, how do we do that in a way that keeps on point for that brand, like what the brand themselves are trying to do with their own, messaging and their own like logos and how they want to show up. But then also creating a really consistent experience to where it's disruptive in a really positive way that allows the strength of the Walmart brand, strength of these other brands to come together. So.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot with Walmart Connect too. It's the idea of intentionality, I think you're getting at. Totally. And, what can marketers actually activate in stores? There has to be a lot of intentionality around that. But, spoiler alert, it's a lot. It's a lot that they can activate inside our stores. Yeah. More importantly, though, every, touch point has really, to your point, has been designed around intention and what they want to do to make impact with our customers in a way that feels very natural to their buying, patterns. So when they're evaluating, decisions on what brands to buy or what decisions they need to make for their kids, like I'm a mom, I have a 7 and 9-year-old boys, and I'm trying to decide on, what birthday, party items do I need to buy, or what, I'm making real life decisions while I'm standing at the store. So I would love to hear more about that really nothing is random.
You're right, Lara. Absolutely nothing is random. And we've spent a lot of time over the last 18 months working across our business teams, product engineering, the store operators, merchandising, enterprise marketing, store of the future team. We've been working very closely to pull together like a really strong ad stack. And we've got 9 different products. So I'm going to walk you through a few of them. So we've got our screens. When you think about screens, that is that moment of truth, in category, also at self-checkout where intention is high and it's a high focused, high discovery moment. Our self-checkout screens, we've seen also, they get approximately 10% lift intent. Audio, and this is something that was like a labor of love. And if you go into a store, I didn't know, we've been in the store together recently. Mm-hmm. You go into the store now, like our new audio product is really awesome. So that's something that we've launched in the last 18 months as well. You've got store-wide reach, and it creates this emotional memory cue. We're seeing really great results across multiple different brands, across multiple different companies. Experiential. This is another one too. And I know we've been working on this for a long time to bring experiential inside of Walmart Connect, which has always been like a tricky thing because we're like, a retail media, digital media company. Yeah. So expanding to be truly omni-channel has been like a huge accomplishment for us. So when you think about experiential, we've got our demos, parking lot activations, we have pickup and delivery sampling. There's a lot that goes into it. And I know, Lara, we've done a lot of work on working with your beauty brands.
We have. I mean, there's a lot of proof points. I love that list. So I think the new audio has been something that I've heard in my own store, actually. And it's pretty impressive on Walmart Radio and all the, different features that they have. It's front and center, but it's very organic and it feels natural to the shopping experience. But there are proof points, in my world and in personal care and beauty that this works. We've had beauty brands run, pretty widescreen TV, ads, and really customized them a bit for the Walmart audience to focus on the savings message or where they are in store. And then what we found is when we looked at some of the research, we found that those lifted not only purchase intent, but in same store sales in all of the stores where those were running in screens. And we can look at that in many different ways, but I love that we're building that measurement capability this year, or more this year into our tech stack. But I think the key takeaway is, pretty clear that no other domain can do as well as stores. And, it builds both brand and performance, which is a very unique attribute to this environment. I'd say most, channels, they skew one way or the other, right? They skew either heavy on brand or heavy on performance. But in store, really, we've seen that it showed a 72% long-term brand impact and a 28% short-term gain as well. So it's high on both of those. Customers walk in and they're ready to choose.
Yep.
They've been thinking about life. I just mentioned I'm thinking about what to buy for the next birthday party or what's for dinner for my family. And, in-store merges the emotional, I would say, with the real practical. So you can appeal to emotions and help with, the connection there. High intent mindsets, that's what our customers have when they're in store. And content-rich environments are always tied, closely to behavior. Attention, too, is a really big part of this. Recent data is showing that in-store actually outperforms every major media channel. So TV, social, digital, out of home. And I've seen this myself in demos, right? We know that demos are a really important part, whether it's a fragrance brand or it might be a new snack or a nutrition launch that is being featured in stores. So when you do combine that really high intent mindset with the intentionality of where we're placing all of these experiences in store, it's a pretty awesome customer experience ultimately.
It is. And I think, the other thing that we've been really hyper focused on, and I know we've just launched this internally and been talking externally about it just over the last a month or so. But we've spent the last 18 months really honing in on our measurement piece, because I've said this a couple of times. And I think all the folks, anyone that's watching this, that's, working in this space knows, you can't just take your digital, the way that you measure digital media and just lift and shift it into the store footprint. It does not work. And so we've done a lot of work behind the scenes, working with dedicated data scientists and a whole stores acceleration team, working with merchandising, working with some of our advertisers to build out a new way of measuring this that really allows us to prove if something drives sales lift, if it drives brand awareness. And I think that's going to be one of the, honestly, the biggest unlock for us this year. So.
I do as well. I think the measurement piece continues to be front and center, especially when we're connecting all these touch points across the purchase funnel. So we've gotten really good at incrementality in search this year. Yeah. That was a build on our display and video. And now we're trying to bring incrementality across all channels offsite and then light up in stores as well. And, when customers are navigating such complex environments and they just have one goal in mind, to get their shopping list done, it's simplicity, right? There's simplicity that's a big unlock. And in store, we really do have to simplify. It's not a place for just endless variation, but, planning, prioritization, and really intentional marketer choices are going to continue to matter more than ever. And I think there's also something maybe happening culturally, right? Because in the age of AI, where this content can be created almost instantaneously, we always have to think about, not really how much can we do in stores, but it's more what actually deserves to be in the store. Totally. So we have to make a mental shift there in the age of AI. And, our advertisers, they are thinking about this, I think, a lot, and they're leaning on us for alignment across all our teams, which we know we've learned to activate very well over our One Walmart, progress that we've made. And so we'll continue to think about designing experiments in store that work within just the real operating environment.
It's true. And that's one thing, like I'm always super probably like skew too much on the like super transparent side of life on this. But the reality of it is when you are going back to, Sam taught his leadership and his store operators that they own the space and they should make decisions and they should build huge displays. And that's part of what's made our company so successful. So the reality of the shift of turning the store footprint into a media vehicle and channel it has been a 6-year transformation. And we've, to your point, it's like if we built it out internally between our merchants and Walmart Connect and the e-commerce team as we, built out Walmart Media Group and launched ads on the site. That was we did it together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken 5 or 6 years to get that in a good place. And the stores is going to be the next version of that. So it's like bringing the store operators in and understanding. I think it's important for everyone it's complex. The stores we have, 4,700 plus stores all over the country that are all, ran individually with, hundreds of employees.
Yep.
And things can get complicated really quickly. But I think ultimately, our goal, no matter what, we have the ability, talent, resources, technology to overcome the, complexity of all this. Because ultimately what we, I said it earlier, what we want to do is create an environment where brands can truly have an omni-channel conversation and have a great experiences for our customers, regardless if they're on the app or on their laptop or in the actual store. And the thing that's really cool about this and kind of going back to the work that we were doing, part of this shift has been the fact that we have turned Walmart Connect into a truly omni-channel media house. Mm-hmm. Before there was multiple different, if you were a marketer, you'd have to, work with our team to do, digital, work with another team to do influencer, work with another, third-party team to do demos. But now we have brought this all in-house and, your team, we've, constructed this in a way to where you guys are hand in hand sitting with merchants every single day to build out the business. So it's, I think a combination of our operating model now with our technology is, like I said, this is going to be the year for stores. I feel it.
Yeah, we're putting the Connect in Walmart Connect. There we go.
Trademark.
But I do think it's the upfront clarity in planning. And I loved what you said about the merchandising. That's really where we're planning, right? You and I spent a long time here building this system and this approach to working across merchandising and our replenishment teams and making sure that we're stacking more media channels to help compound the results. And so a question we ask ourselves a lot is, how do we design these systems to be more efficient and to make better decisions for our marketers?
Yeah.
And that's something, that is hard. It's not easy.
It's hard.
And so how do we make it, a bit easier for our marketers?
Here's the advice I always give folks as they're, because everybody wants to figure out how to win in store. There's a lot of power in our store footprint. And what I've seen over the years of doing this and even current day, it's the same thing with, it's like, how do you, crush it on e-commerce? You start with foundational, you have a really great table stakes e-com, you have a great item page, it's like all the foundational stuff. And it's the same thing on the store side. I see a lot of people will run towards the super shiny, we'll pay and put a gazillion screens up and da-da-da-da. It just won't scale. You can do it in 10 stores and you can take a picture of it and put it on LinkedIn and it'll be great. But you're not going to really be able to move the needle, be able to actually put it, scale it. Mm-hmm. So my advice to this is being hyper focused and working with our teams to be very clear around what their business objectives are. And now that we have this awesome measurement suite and we understand truly what all of these different ad products do, we can be hyper localized in how we're building out these omni-channel marketing plans. So I think the thing I would say, kind of last words here, we have to be very, very purposeful about, what's our business objective. And we have to be okay that it's kind of the early day, it's like the early days when we were starting this stuff on the site. We're going on this journey together. Mm-hmm. There is not a, I've looked it up, but there's not a playbook on how to do this at the world's largest omnichannel retailer. We are all kind of, as an industry, figuring it out together.
Yeah, we want brands to lean in with us, right? We want brands to approach this as, the new digital frontier, let's call it, and lean in and be flexible and want to pilot and pivot and lead with intentionality. I think that's the most we can say. And this is a mature moment for retail media. What's really changing is, not just where our brands are showing up, but a bit more about how they choose to show up.
Yep.
Less is more sometimes in these contexts. Questions that we start to look at more are, how do we earn attention instead of just demanding attention?
Yeah.
And how do we make, the consistency quite a lot easier just across all of our touch points, and that journey for the customer could start in app. It could start while they're watching, their Vizio at home. It could start on site while they're searching. And we want to make sure that we're seamlessly connecting all of those, together. And I think stores can really help, light that up in the journey.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think if we, from my point of view, and just even listening, having this conversation with you, I think if you distill it down to one thing, we have to, from the very get-go, have a very clear objective around what our brand is trying to do. Mm-hmm. That is the thing I see time and time again, where people get tripped up, and then, one group, the agency is wanting this ROI model, the head of sales is wanting, their sales lift off of end caps, and then you've got the marketer who's wanting, so there's, I think, sitting down from the get-go and really aligning as a full omni-channel team around what we're trying to do and what's our true business objective. I know it sounds so simple, but it's amazing how much that can help drive real results.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of our suppliers are now leaning even on Scintilla to think about, what is my true, business challenge at Walmart, or what obstacle do I need to overcome? And then they're kind of enhancing some of those media strategies, whether that be in store or elsewhere, but with that, leading with that business problem. Totally. We talk a lot about that at the meetings, even here at CES this week, is how can we solve and then fill in the blank? What I need more share, or I'm not seeing enough growth versus the Walmart category, or people don't know about my product. It's new at Walmart. We need to demo it, right? So there's all these areas, but I love what you said just about starting with intention and clarity as around the business objective. I think my kind of final sign off, or maybe statement, would be about innovation. Mm-hmm. So I think both of us are leading to this, which is that, we would encourage these brands to do more innovation in stores, and not just think about it as just a place to activate, but maybe think a little bit differently, just based on what we're building across our 9 different, elements and screens. So there's a lot ahead of us. And I know we're together and with our other, counterparts at Walmart and as the enterprise, I know we're really excited about shaping this next generation of our strategy across nearly 5,000 different stores.
I know.
So
it's a big task, but it's very exciting to be a part of bringing it to life. So awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Thanks, friend.
Yeah, you too.
That's great.